speaking of people that make us some money, speaking of people that make us some money, and speaking of somebody that should have got a $50,000 bonus, I hope Uncle Dana slipped something to him on the side because he absolutely deserved it for the way that he went all the way in for his submission. Shout out to an absolute gangster in that 8-sided cage. He's an octagon warrior, king of the under 1.5, king of the first round finishes, king of making me money, my cash cow, my possible favorite fighter at 155 pounds. Yeah, I'm talking about Terrance T-Rex motherfucking McKinney. Okay? Terrance McKinney, T-Rex. He's an American NCAA Division II wrestler and a mixed martial artist out of Spokane, Washington. All right. He trains out of Warrior Camp MMA. He's been training since 2017, but he fights out of Orlando, Florida. All right. Terrance McKinney's 30 years old, born September 15th, 1994. He's a 5'10 lightweight with a 73-inch reach, fighting out of Southpaw. He's 17-7, 8 KOs, 9 subs. All right. He rarely makes it out of the first round. All but one of his 17 wins have come in the very first round. And that one that he didn't get in the first round was a round 3 sub. Okay. Not one single opponent that he's beaten has made it to the final bell with him. All right. That's why his nickname should be self-explanatory. Terrance T-Rex McKinney. Whether it's T-Rex, the WRECKS, or TREX. All right? Motherfucker's a monster. And he's coming to fuck shit up. Okay? He is one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC, whether he wins or loses. Because it's going to happen in that under 1.5. And you're going to see some shit go down when Terrance McKinney fights. All right? He does not get paid by the minute in there. He does not get paid by the minute. McKinney started training seriously for MMA after his wrestling career, but he had interest from time since he was a freshman. He was born and raised by his mother, Katara Johnson, a former gang member. McKinney and his family moved to a military base in Germany, where he was picked on due to being small. And after he relocated to Davenport, Washington, once his mother joined the army, he was picked on for being black. I mean, that was a common thing a few years ago, especially in suburban areas, rural areas as well, obviously. McKinney eventually ended up in Spokane, Washington in 2007, where he took up wrestling. He was a 2-time WIAA state champion out of Shadle Park High School and a Fargo All-American in freestyle wrestling. He was the 6th-ranked senior recruit in the country, and McKinney considered skipping college wrestling to jump into MMA, but eventually conceded and decided that he was going to pursue wrestling. He went on to wrestle at North Idaho College, where he went 31-11, and he was a top-ranked athlete during his first year in junior college, 2013 and 2014. After a quick stint at NIC, he transferred to Chadron State College and redshirted during the 2014-2015 season. But during that summer of 2015, McKinney was extremely intoxicated. Off a little LSD, some psilocybin mushrooms, a lot of alcohol. He was with a few friends, chilling out, having a good time, and then he got too fucked up. The friends decided they didn't want to get in trouble because they were all on substances that were very illegal. So they left him, but called the police so that they could come assist Terrance. But by the time the police arrived, he was covered in blood. He had accidentally cut his neck with some glass, possibly from one of the bottles that they'd been drinking with. When they found him, he was delirious. He was speaking weird in tongues and stuff. So they transported him immediately to the hospital. And in that ambulance on the way to the hospital, his heartbeat stopped twice. He technically died twice in that ambulance. Okay. He was resuscitated, and obviously he was later stable. His family was contacted, all that. He was okay. Those officers saved his life. So in return, to, you know, to pay back those officers that saved his life. He served as a leader of the Youth Police Initiative. He told his story and the incident many years later, and he uses that story as a way to spread positivity to youth and other people considering, getting into changing their lives for the better and getting into sports as opposed to the things that they're doing now and getting into drugs and alcohol and other stuff like that. This is a direct quote from Terrance McKinney. I was so embarrassed, to be honest. I was really disappointed in myself. Just seeing my mom's face in tears. She could have lost me forever, and I'm her firstborn. That was a huge game changer for me. Seeing my family members crying and sad, just seeing that inspired me to make a change. I tried to be around them every day, and I still feel that they're hurt. That pushes to me the man that I am today. McKinney wasn't kicked off that wrestling team. He actually went on to be ranked as high as second in the nation in NCAA Division II wrestling during that 2015-2016 season before transferring to Notre Dame College and dropping out after one semester in order to do what he does now. Yeah, he dropped out to pursue MMA, and I really think that was the best choice he ever made because this man should be producing $50,000 bonuses every single time that he fights. He's that type of fighter. I view him like a Justin Gaethje type fighter, a fighter that when he goes in there, he's trying to excite the crowd. He's trying to win. He's not just trying to win. He's trying to excite the fans. He's trying to be exciting. And we should really push fighters like that forward because that's the type of fights we want to see. You guys want to push these wrestlers, these crotch grabbers. We don't want to see that. We want to see exciting fights. And Terrance McKinney is one of those fighters. After ending his college career, McKinney made his amateur mixed martial arts debut in August of 2016, winning by knockout 15 seconds into the first round. A year later, he would turn professional and went on to compile a 7-1 record. Yeah, let's go over that McKinney 7-1 record, shall we? He won his first MMA fight against Armando Best, submission rear naked choke, round 1, October 14th, 2017 at Cage Sport 47. At Cage Sport 48, he beats Armando Best again, submitting him again in the first round, this time 1 minute and 23 seconds. The first time, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Then he takes on Tyrone Henderson. He submits him with an armbar at Cage Sport 49, February 10th of 2018 in the first round, 1 minute and 39 seconds. And then he submits Brandon Todd with a knee bar at Cage Sport 50, April 28th, 2018, round 3. All of these happened in Tacoma, Washington. All right. 4 consecutive Cage Sport events, 4 consecutive submissions, 3 of them in the first round, the 4th being in the 3rd round. Then he takes on Tyrone Henderson and loses the fight via TKO because of a leg injury that he sustained within the fight. That was at Cage Sport 52, July 21st, 2018, in the first round, 39 seconds into the fight. I think there's video of that on the internet. You go check that out. He comes back over just about 6 months later, taking on Jeff Coleman. He TKOs him at Excite Fight Conquest of the Cage 30, February 8th, 2019, in the very first round, a 7-second KO. Huh. He got a 7-second KO. I wonder if that'll be a theme in his career. That was at welterweight. Okay. So he started his career at featherweight. His first 3 fights were at featherweight. Then he went to lightweight on the Brandon Todd fight, went back to featherweight, lost by TKO leg injury, then came back to fight Jeff Coleman at welterweight. Okay, so he's fought at 3 weight classes in 2 promotions. Now he takes on Bobby McIntyre at Front Street Fights 19, April 19th of 2019. That's a lot of 19s. He wins the fight by submission, rear naked choke in round 1, 2 minutes and 57 seconds. He wins the lightweight championship there. And then in his very next fight, he returns to featherweight, takes on Sharon Spain, wins the fight by submission, rear naked choke, Excite Fight, Conquest of the Cage 31, May 18, 2019, very first round in Washington. And that was his return to featherweight. That was his last fight at featherweight. Sorry, that is not his last fight with featherweight. He stays at featherweight. He gets a shot at Dana White's Contender Series 21. This is where we see him take on Sean Woodson. Now, a little backstory before this fight. Just a little backstory before this fight. After finishing all his opponents, he appears on Dana White Contender Series. His goal was to get a contract, but he ends up losing by knockout to Sean Woodson. Ouch. After losing his very next fight to Derek Minner, McKinney took time off, and a lot of time off. uh, he loses to Derek Minner by triangle choke at Midwest CF 18, October 19th of 2019. 19s are a theme in his life, huh? In the very first round in Nebraska. Things aren't going well for Terrance McKinney. Takes a lot of time off and comes back almost 2 years later against Dedrick Sanders at Strike Hard Productions 59 and wins the fight by TKO in the very first round in Chattanooga, Tennessee. This was his official return to lightweight, and this is where he stayed for the remainder of his career. It seems that when he went down to featherweight, he didn't have the durability that he needed, losing by leg injury in his very first loss of his career, and then losing to Sean Woodson and Derek Minner. Featherweight was just not not nice to his body. So he goes up to lightweight, and then look at the tear that Terrance McKinney goes on now. 8 days after a first round knockout win in the headliner of LFA 109. Okay. That was the fight after Dedrick Sanders. He takes on Tonino Gavino. KO kicks him at LFA 106 in the very first round in Oklahoma, April 30th of 2021. Then takes on Michael Azario Ortiz, knocks him out at LFA 109, June 4th of 2021 in the very first round at a catch weight of 160. He gets a call 8 days later for June 12th, UFC 263 against Matt Favola, and he gets a round 1 TKO in 7 seconds, getting one of the fastest knockouts in lightweight UFC history. He sets the record for the fastest finish in UFC lightweight history. He also hurts himself celebrating after that fight, but we'll just gloss that over, all right? After the event, UFC President Dana White announced that even though McKinney did not receive an official performance of the night bonus, he would receive an unofficial one. Uncle Dana, let's please replicate that for Terrance McKinney, that submission that he gets at UFC 317, that deserved a bonus, a submission bonus. It definitely did. And then after that, we see the fighter that Terrance McKinney is. He submits Farazim in round 1 at UFC Fight Night Makhachev versus Green, rear naked choke, round 1, 2 minutes, 11 seconds. He loses to Drew Dober in a TKO in a fight that he was looking good in at first, March 12th, 2022, round 1, 3 minutes and 17 seconds. He submits Eric Gonzalez at UFC on ESPN Santos versus Hill with a rear naked choke, August 6th of 2022 in the very first round. Then he loses his next 2 fights to Ishmael Bonfim with a flying knee at UFC 283, January 21st of 2023, in the second round in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And then to Nazim Sadiqov, a submission, rear naked choke at UFC on ESPN, Home versus Bueno Silva, July 15, 2023, in the second round. Then he goes on the tear that we've seen him on now. UFC on ESPN, Luque versus Dos Anjos. He TKOs Mike Breeden, August 12th of 2023, round 1, 1 minute and 25 seconds. Follows that up with a knockout of Brandon Marat, TKO, knees and punches, UFC Fight Night, Yusuf versus Barbosa, October 14th, 2023, very first round, 20 seconds. Another one of the fastest knockouts in UFC lightweight history. Then loses by a head kick to Esteban Ribovic in a very fun fight, 1-round war for about 30 seconds that it lasted. UFC on ESPN, Lewis versus Nascimento, May 11th of 2024 in St. Louis, Missouri. And then his last 2 fights, Damir Hadzovic knocking him out, UFC Fight Night, Adesanya versus Imavov, February 1st of this year, 2025, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, 2 minutes and 1 second in round 1. And then Terrance McKinney does what he did on Saturday night. Fast forward, he comes in at a minus 160 favorite against Vladislav. He overwhelms him with submission attempts, first in Anaconda, then the guillotine, and he gets the tap. Relentless, gets another round 1 sub. Terrance T-Rex McKinney gets another round 1 win. And that's why Terrance T-Rex McKinney absolutely deserved to be my fighter spotlight of the week. Shout out to T-Rex. Shout out to Terrance McKinney. Shout out to JP Louise. Shout out to everybody in his camp. Shout out to his whole team, his coaches, his family, because they built us such a fantastic fighter to watch. He better have gotten a 50K bonus from Dana somehow. He better got that envelope. He better have gotten it, man, because he deserves it. He really does.